What's going on, Neon Nation? Welcome back to the Neon Arcade for another Cyberpunk 2077 and CD PROJEKT RED video. Today we're talking about Cyberpunk 2077 versus The Witcher 3, if Cyberpunk 2077 can dethrone the most awarded game of all time in The Witcher 3, what it needs to do to be a better game, and why The Witcher 3 is so critically acclaimed. It's no doubt at all that The Witcher 3 was the pinnacle of CD PROJEKT RED's creations, and in early 2016 surpassed The Last of Us as the most awarded game of all time, with over 251 Game of the Year awards. The Witcher 3 also received prestigious awards on top of that, like Outstanding Achievement in Game Design, Best Storytelling, and Best RPG. In this video, we're going to be going over each facet of what makes The Witcher 3 so great, and also talk about what Cyberpunk 2077 needs to do in each of those respective categories to supersede The Witcher 3. The Witcher 3 is a game which respected the time you invested into it. The sheer amount of quests and side quests in itself would have been good, but tack on the fact that each quest was its own nuanced adventure, offering a range of variety in how to solve them, and you get a living, breathing world which always felt in flux. In CD PROJEKT RED's first iterations of designing their quests, there were a series of trigger systems in place which essentially opened up tunneling paths of options when it came to solving quests. Feeling like this was not true to the nature of how an open world should feel, CD PROJEKT RED created a dizzying array of ways to initially trigger quests and how they unfold as you progress through it. Handcrafting each and every scenario and littering notes, items, and a variety of NPC interactions to unlock unique paths has led to people spending 200, 300, and even 400 hours into The Witcher 3. Cyberpunk 2077 is undoubtedly going to offer more ways to trigger quests and side quests for a multitude of reasons. Your character is a blank slate which you create to your liking, and NPC reactivity will be based on how you look and dress. This offers differing dialogue options and ways to open up quests. We also have male and female characters who will be treated differently by many NPCs in our travels. A fluid class system means that quests will unfold vastly differently, not even based on how we explore the quest, but how our niche skills help us to explore the environment. Now, this last part can make quests unfold in previously mentioned tunneled circumstances. If classes are more integral to gameplay mechanics, we might feel shuttled into certain directions without the proper freedom to really follow an organic route through the quest. This is addressed with the fluid class system and having the abilities of the Netrunner, Techie, and Solo all at the same time, so I'm hoping this helps offer a more wide variety of choices instead of shuttling you into performing actions with the class you've invested the most points into. Witcher 3's open world environment is lush, vast, unique, and painstakingly detailed. From the shacks of White Orchard, to the frigid seas of Skellige, to the bustle of Novigrad, the world of The Witcher is arguably its strongest element. The feeling of exploration and discovery in The Witcher 3 is something that's unparalleled. Seeing a new monster or animal in the world for the first time gives you a very real sense that the world is constantly moving around you, even when you aren't around. This is something that Cyberpunk 2077 will have a hard time recreating based off the nature of the world alone. While Cyberpunk 2077 will have a multitude of mega buildings, alleys, skyscrapers, and streets, the feeling of discovery and exploration, at least in terms of enemies, is something that will be harder for CD PROJEKT RED to make feel fresh through the entirety of the single player. I have no doubt that the game will be more detailed and given more handcrafted love than The Witcher 3, but it's a much more monumental task to give that same feeling of awe when you've stepped inside a mega building 50 times versus walking across fields, dense forests, arctic tundras, and bustling cities and towns. I'm not saying it's impossible for Cyberpunk 2077 to surpass The Witcher 3 in this department, but in my opinion it will be the hardest task for 2077 moving forward. The Witcher 3's gameplay was probably one of its most criticized components. Compared to its other elements, it was passable, and I feel like everybody saw combat in The Witcher 3 differently. I've stated in previous videos that I think The Witcher 3's combat is good, but it really could have been better. Quen seemed vastly superior to all the other abilities, which was really a bummer in my opinion, as it meant you had all this choice, but there was no reason to use any of the other abilities except in niche situations or if you fully upgraded them. Combat in Cyberpunk 2077, from what we've seen, did seem a little bit more interesting, but this is where Cyberpunk 2077 can easily beat The Witcher 3 in the long run. Yes, there are completely different gameplay mechanics involved, and you can't really compare a third-person hack-and-slash styled game to a first-person shooter with augmentations and cyberware, but you can compare it on a well-designed basis. In 2077, cyberware, the diversity in fluid class options, perks, weapon mods, alternate firing modes, combat drugs, and a big arsenal of weaponry will allow you to play in many different styles, and everyone will have their own unique preferences. If these are all relatively balanced, with no super OP outliers or minimal outliers, this is where CD PROJEKT RED can really take their game development to the next level. RPGs are mainly about storytelling and exploration, but fun and diverse gameplay mechanics will really be the cherry on top that many found The Witcher 3 to be lacking. The stories in The Witcher 3, mainly offered in side quests, are layered in deep character development and well-written dialogue. People are still talking about the Bloody Baron questline years later, which was probably the side quest in The Witcher 3 which gets the most notoriety when it comes to flawless execution and emotional impact. Voice acting to carry the weight of The Witcher's stories was also very well done, although it looks like 2077's will feature a more diverse cast of voice acting, and from what we've heard so far is phenomenal. This is where I feel 2077 and The Witcher 3 could most likely be neck and neck. Both of these games have rich source material to work with and are at the top of their respective genres. I can see Cyberpunk 2077 having more interesting stories overall, as we haven't seen a great cyberpunk themed game address philosophy, social commentary, and transhumanism in the same ways as 2077 seems to want to do, but again, when it comes to fleshing out good stories and characters in the world, The Witcher 3 sets a high standard. 2077 will surpass it if it nails all the elements The Witcher 3 did and dives into the uniqueness of the cyberpunk genre as a whole, filled with its technology, sex, decadence, indulgence, greed, as well as detailing how everything in the world is hunting you or keeping you on your knees. If 2077 can do all of this, I think there's a very real possibility that Cyberpunk can dethrone The Witcher 3 for most awarded game of all time. Thanks for watching, guys, and for everything and anything Cyberpunk 2077, join Neon Nation by subscribing to the Neon Arcade.